Hey guys, and welcome to Pheas Airsoft, where today I'm going to unbox this ARCTURUS AR AT-AR-01-RF. Hey guys, and welcome back. If you do enjoy this content today, please do like and subscribe because you could really help me out. And if you want to become a member, it is only 99p a month for custom emojis, custom rank icons, and bloopers as well, and a private chat area in my Discord, which if you're not part of, please make sure you do so. So we've got another ARCTURUS here. So this is the AT-AR-01-RF, an AR type. This is the first one I've seen from them, and I have been thoroughly impressed with ARCTURUS in the past. Particularly the AK-12 was a phenomenal piece of kit. So we've got in here then apparently a quick change spring. It's bearing base gearbox, 6.01 barrel, which is 430 millimeters, micro switch based trigger, and a steel toothed piston as well. So let's have a look. So we've got the usual ARCTURUS plain box, just a little bit of information on each end with a little picture. I did go for the little bit longer M4 this time because usually I like really compact weapons, but for some reason this one's just sort of caught my attention. So we've got our usual ARCTURUS patch, which is really nice. A little bit of information about the bolt catch and everything working, and that it was initially chronoed at 390 FPS. I did ask for this to be made UK legal. So the chrono sheet in here is saying about 330 to 340, which we'll do our own chrono and find out as well. When I picked this up from Taiwan Gun, this was about £205. I've had this months and months. They're now going for, at the minute, about £147, and they are about £200 on patrol base. I'll put all the links down below. So in the box then, you get a mid cap, you get a high cap, which happens to be one of the flash mag types. So instead of a spinny windy handle, you've just got the wire, which we'll look at momentarily. You've got, I assume that's the original spring. We've got some flip up iron sights as well in there, and the piece itself. Now, wow, there's quite some nice weight to that, but quite balanced actually at the same time. That's lovely. Right, let's get that out of the way. Gently place it down. So there she is. That is quite a long piece of kit. Let's just rotate it slightly, get it all in shot. There we go. That is quite long. It's obviously significantly longer than a typical M4 would be. You have got M-lock for absolute days there to accessorize to your heart's content. And it's a free floating style. So you've got the barrel sort of not supporting the rail unit at all. And it's just supported by these two bolts at the back here, where it connects onto the upper receiver. So start at the front then. I am liking that muzzle brake. That is quite chunky and beefy, quite aggressive looking. I like the cuts in it. Again, ARCTURUS, I'm just finding they're really beautifully made and rock solid as well. You got a metal outer barrel then. You got your metal M-lock with the rail on top for as many optical devices as you could choose to have across the top there. You've then got your full metal receiver with a custom serial number on there. Fairly standard sort of AR style pistol grip. Would have liked a little bit better shape one, but it's totally fine. You know, it's comfy enough. The corners are not the sharp ones that we've seen on some brands. Sometimes they're a little bit rounded off, so they're not going to sort of rub too much on there. You then come back into your charging handle with a working bolt catch, which is quite nice to access the hop. We've got a rotary style hop, and on this one we are rolling down to apply hop instead of up, which is all good. Quite firm movement, quite happy with that. So we'll release that bolt cover, click it forward. We've then got a sort of ergonomic Magpul CTR style stock. Is that the right CTR? I'm sure somebody will let me know down below in the comments if I don't think it is CTR. I could be wrong. Which has got a QD sling point on there. And let's see how many positions we've got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like a 5-position stock. I'll check that during the disassembly. I do like, I've said this before on unboxing, these larger type motor adjustment screws for me are much better than the sort of older style ones where it's just a tiny little grub screw with a little motor plate. Those are much better, more reliable. I just feel like they're better quality in general and less fiddly at bare minimum when you're working on these. So now we'll get the iron sights on and see what they look like. I'm going to go for very front and very back just because you've got the maximum amount of sort of range out of it then. So let's have a look. That must be the front one. That is the correct. So you just take the bolt out. Let's do the rear one first. I'll show you why. Because these have got to, they don't just hook onto the rail like a lot do. They have to be slid back. So you're gonna hook it onto the rail. A little bit fiddly. It's quite a firm fit. There we go. And then we're just gonna pull it all the way back. Now, a little bit rough there, just where it's transitioned from the front end to the receiver. There we go. There we go. It's a little bit stiff. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not going to go anywhere easily, even if the bolt does come out. So I'm just going to drop the nut back in on one side. Obviously, if I'd have put the front sight on first, then I would have had to take it straight back off to then basically slide this one on. So I'm just going to tighten that down. I'm liking these actually. And then the front one can go on. We've taken the bolt out, so I'm just going to put the front one on more or less in line with the very front here. There we go. There we go. Right, so we've got flip ups then. So you just pull down on the little tab on either side or both sides and it flips up. I do quite like that. And the same on the back. Flip up sights, they're quite nice. So we've got on the rear sight as well, sort of almost Magpul Mbuis style. So we've got a little adapter there that we flick out to change the sight aperture. The front sight post is adjustable as well, up and down, which is quite nice. The rear one is adjustable as well, left and right, using the dials on the side, and it will adjust left and right. So they're quite handy, particularly if you don't like running a red dot or anything, and you want to go iron sights. They are quite, let's see if we can get down them. Not quite, we're near enough. And they just fold down when you're done and you can pack it away like that. I do quite, to be fair, I'd probably find myself messing with that quite a lot, just flipping them up and down, particularly during dead time in games or between games. Now, that is absolutely solid. Other than, you know, free float, there is a little bit of barrel movement just because there's nothing in here supporting the barrel and the rail unit together. So there is a little bit of movement, but I would expect that in any sort of free float rail system like that. But everything else, you know, there's no real movement, there's no creakiness, there's no nothing. It feels absolutely rock solid. So the battery compartment then is in the stock tube, which means you're going to need stock tube lipos. So to take this off, you're going to have to extend it fully, and then you're going to have to get hold of this pin on both sides and pull it down. Which is not easy with just your fingers. You might need a screwdriver or something, a flat blade. So, stock's off. There's then also an end cap as well. to be fair, I know it's a pain because it's an extra step to change a battery, but I don't mind that, to be honest. And there is the wiring. It is wired to a mini Tamiya. I would have liked that to be a Dean's. I just think it would be a little bit nicer for things to be Dean's now, but it's not a massive issue. But that is how we get into there. So what we'll do now is we'll go and look at the chrono, the range, and the rate of fire test, and we'll come back and we'll have a look at batteries and the gloved use. Max 341, min 335. Oh, it's easy, it's barely any adjustment. Barely any adjustment, well over 40 meters, like 45 easily. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, so we're back from the chrono then, and the range check and everything. So what we're looking at here, we're looking at 335 to 341.8 FPS. So at the minute, that's about nearly 7 FPS variance. I would expect that after, you know, sort of a day's play, that would settle down a lot more. We do usually typically see between 2 and 5 FPS variance in a gun when it's settled down. If it's more, that can be air seal issues, handspring inconsistencies and all sorts of things. But I'd expect that to settle to sort of 5 or less variance between the top and the bottom. So the chrono sheet from Taiwan Gun was pretty much spot on, 330 to 340. So we've got then rate of fire, we've got 11.7 to 11.9 on a 7.4, which is pretty steady. It's nice and steady away. I'm quite happy with that. You've got 11.6 to 11.9 on an 8.4. Now, this has been done on a day when I've done sort of like 4 shooting tests. So it could be that NIM type, that 8.4, is sort of just starting to sort of drop a little bit. So that 11.6 could just be an anomaly, but it's more or less in line with the 7.4. You've then got the 9.6, which was the jump we expected, which was 13.8 to 13.9. It's pretty consistent there on a 9.6. You're basically calling it just short of 14 rounds. And then on an 11.1, we had the big jump we wanted, which was 18.8 to 18.9. So you're looking at virtually 19 rounds per second. So all fairly standard numbers in terms of rate of fire. It felt nice to shoot, it sounded nice, the gearbox turned over lovely, so I was really happy with that. In terms of the range then, looking at 45-ish meters, obviously because of the range I've got, I can't exactly quantify it. I do know that at a certain point, the tree that I aim towards is if they get into that tree, that is a minimum of 40 meters away. And it was going well past that. So I'm going to put out there and say it was definitely doing minimum 45 meters because it was getting well past that tree. How much further, I'm not sure, but it was easily getting past that 40 meter tree and going well past it. So I was really happy with that. That's helped along by the 6.01 barrel a little bit, and obviously just good quality components throughout. So then we'll have a look at batteries and then we'll do the glove. Now the normal stock style like this are absolutely no good unless you're going to switch this stock out for a crane stock, at which point these absolutely become fair game again and you can fit them in a crane stock. Because we're talking about a stock tube, we're going to need stock tube lipos. So the main one I've got is a 1200 which will more than easily fit in there. It will go quite far down into there and give me a little bit of room to plug my connectors in as well. And I can probably even get that wiring back in there as well. Let's plug that in, oops. A little bit fiddly. I'm probably not going to be able to get the end cap on, which is something I was going to say, is that typically I probably wouldn't put the end caps on anyway. I'd leave the end cap off just to make it a little bit easier during sort of battery changes and things like that, and to give yourself a little bit more room. Now, in theory, what you could do is, instead of running something like that, and I will show you, there is still a little bit of room in there, so you could get a little bit thicker battery than that in there. You know, you've got a few mil sort of in each direction, and I will put a link to this down below. You could get something like that, a little bit longer if you wanted. Again, it only sticks out a little bit. If you don't mind having your stock sort of stuck out to various positions, I always play with my stock fully collapsed because I'm more comfortable with that. But I know a lot of people prefer to have them all the way out and anywhere in between. So it is just an option for you if you felt like it. So what we'll do now is I'll just put this back in, I'll get my gloves on, and we'll do the gloved operation. So here we are then, as recommended on my Discord. People would like to see this sort of thing in here. So, front sight, dead easy. Rear sight, dead easy. Hop, see, this is helped along by the fact that the bolt stays open there. Now, I can definitely adjust it, but I can't tell you how precise I'm being. I can see that it has moved and I can feel it's moving, but there's no real guarantee of how much I've moved it. So, although I can operate it, and that's great, there's no easy way to know how much I've operated it. In terms of the mag then, mag goes in nicely, comes out nicely. I'm pretty sure I can open that mag as well, and the winding of it is technically a bit easier, because all you do is, if you've not seen these before, flash mags, instead of the winding wheel, you have basically a pull cord. So you put your BBs in, close it up, and as we know, we need to keep our mag as close to vertical as possible when winding, so the BBs feed up the system properly. And all you do is you just keep pulling your ripcord until you get the traditional high cap winding click that tells you that it's fully wound. At that point then, it's fully ready to go back in. And there it is, sat in the mag. Stock, again, easy enough. I don't think, do you know what? I'm saying I don't think. Let's see if I can get the stock off. Do you know what? I actually got the stock off and the end cap as well. Easier with my gloves on, because it afforded me a level of sort of protection to it than it was without my gloves. So I'm quite happy with that. That's sort of as easy to do as it is. So I am thoroughly looking forward to seeing how this looks internally, especially with the quick change spring and stuff. You know, ARCTURUS I've got high expectations of now, because their AK-12 especially impressed me no end for the build quality of it. This I'm expecting no less from. So I will leave the key information that I've talked about over the images at the end, and I will leave the links as usual. Please do remember to like, comment and subscribe, because you really help my channel grow, and I will see you next time. Bye.